Good morning, everybody. I'm Reverend Iain. You joined me today during load shedding, so if the light isn't that great, I've made do. You also joined me today as my daughter rests on my chest. But I greet you all in the name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And of course, August is in August, we find Women's Day on the 9th of August, but we've started to celebrate Women's Month uh, throughout August, which some people have grumbled, but really it's okay. It's a good thing. It's a good thing because it helps us to grow mindful of the women in our midst. It's not just about doing something special for a day or doing something special, having an event within the month, but rather it's about realizing. It's helping us to realize that throughout the world and as close to us as in our very homes and in our church, women are still treated as second-class citizens. It might not be the case in your home, and we celebrate that. But that doesn't mean we can sit back and relax while it happens next door. I'm recording this message on a Thursday, and that's why I'm wearing black. I've got a touch of pink, but I'm wearing black mostly because in the Methodist Church of Southern Africa, we stand in solidarity with our women and our children. And we wear black on a Thursday in mourning and in protest of violence and abuse against our women and children. And perhaps if that resonates with you, next week you could join me as you purposefully choose to wear an item of black. It helps me to grow mindful of the many women and children in my own community that still suffer abuse and violence. I stand with them and I dream of a future where that won't be the case. I find that our Old Testament lectionary for this week is quite helpful in this regard. It tells the story of the birth of Moses. I'm sure you're very comfortable and very aware of this story. You find it in Exodus chapter 1, verse 8 to 2, verse 10. And it's quite a tragic story if we really get down to it. We're so used to it because we're told the story. The story when we're children, and so it seems quite fantastical. But if we get down to the nitty gritty, it really is quite horrible. See, Pharaoh, who was the ruler of the empire of Egypt, had grown afraid of this growing population of Hebrew people in Egypt. The Hebrews brought there by Joseph when Joseph was second in command. But this Pharaoh had either forgotten Joseph or didn't care much for the legacy of Joseph. And so he wants to put the Hebrew people down. He puts them to work as slaves to keep them in their place. And he decrees that any little boy that is born should be killed immediately. He decrees that to the midwives who assist in the births. And then when they prove to not be so good at killing children, he decrees that such boys should be thrown into the Nile. It really is horrible. It's a story that shows the difference in our gender understandings and our roles. See, the male pharaoh, the one who has the true power and strength found within the empire at his disposal, does not see any of the women as a threat to his power. He only recognizes that it is the boys who will grow up to be men who can threaten his power. He only recognizes male power, and so he decrees that boys must be killed. But while he worries about the boys who would grow up into men, it is the women in the story who slowly rise up against him in very subtle and subversive ways. The midwives, Shiprach and Puach, deliver the boys safely, despite what Pharaoh had commanded, because they loved God and they understood that life was sacred. They could not kill. Moses' mother hid him away until he was 3 months old and she could hide him no longer. And so she hid him in a basket in the reeds nearby to Pharaoh's own daughter, hoping that another woman who had more power than her in the story would protect the life of her child. And her daughter watches on to ensure that this would take root, that this truly would happen. When Pharaoh's daughter and the maidservants saw this child, they wished to care for him and they wished to protect him. This in itself was another act of subversion. They knew that he was a Hebrew child, a small circumcised little boy hiding in the reeds. They knew that he was Hebrew and that keeping him alive would be an act of treason against the very royal Egyptian house that they were a part of. And so in all of this, Moses' sister even introduces them to Moses' mother, who then is paid to nurse and look after the child until the child can be raised in Pharaoh's own household. Everything in the story, everything that the women do, whether they are named or unnamed, goes against Pharaoh's specific decree. And Pharaoh's decree was a decree of death, because that's how Pharaoh wielded his power. But the women rose up in power by promoting life. And perhaps that's our takeaway for the story as we draw to an end of this Women's Month. If our words and our actions and our thoughts even seek to put others down, seek to kill and destroy hopes and dreams, seek to oppress so that we might raise ourselves in power, then we have aligned ourselves with Pharaoh, which is the way of the empire, the way that Jesus' kingdom stands in stark contrast against. But if we rather choose to promote the sanctity of life, to protect the weakest among us, to stand up against corruption and death, to seek power through love and mercy, through justice and righteousness, then we promote the power of God's kingdom. We allow it to break through in this world. And so may you, as you go about your day, seek all the ways in which you may promote life, where you may seek to love and protect, where you might think like the women of the story and stand up against the evil schemes of men who seek power and dominance over others. Let us pray. So, Holy Lord, help us to be like these women. Help us to work against the way of power and dominance. Rather, Lord, help us to seek life and unity. For where there is darkness, Lord, may we bring your light. And where there is death, Lord, may we bring your life. And where there is hatred, Lord, may we bring your love. We pray this in your holy name. Amen. So God bless you, friends, as you go about this day. Be mindful of the story of these women and seek the stories of women around you as they promote the life and the sanctity of life in our communities. I greet you all and may you be blessed. Bye-bye.